We are almost halfway through the month of April. Today, we'll be discussing sneakers to resell in the remainder of the month. If you're not into reselling, that's okay as well. You could use this guide to know what are going to be the most hype sneakers, the most limited, or even what popular general releases may potentially go on sale because, hey, we're all trying to save some money. Specifically, we'll be discussing the name of the sneaker, the retail, the release date, and whether that sneaker will be profitable or not, or they may even sit on shelves resulting in a sale price. Be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you stay 100% updated on all these profitable releases. Also, be sure to follow my Twitter for urgent updates and info, KeithAdam10, and also personals for you, such as the recent shock drops that we have seen. For early info before these occur, Endurance has your back. Follow for Restocks. Kicking it off with tomorrow, the 12th, we have a few dunk drops. First, we have the Dunk Low Active Fuchsia in grade school size dropping for $90. Demand is pretty solid for these and pre-sale is still holding up too. I'd expect these to maintain profitability with a decent to good margin, primarily on sizes 5 and up, bigger being the better. Also on the 12th, the Dunk Low Needlework Sail Aura in women's sizes will be dropping for $120 on Nike as well. Demand looks great for these, and pre-sale is also very high. I'd expect these to be profitable in all sizes with a decent to good margin, and a very good margin on large sizes 10 and above. Also on the 12th, the Dunk Low Black Panda 2.0 will be dropping on Nike for $110. Unfortunately, pre-sale on these is already quite low, but you should still expect them to sell out, just personals only though. The same applies to the grade school pairs, which will be dropping for $90. Also on the 12th for $160 each, the undercover Nike Mach Flow will be dropping in black and brown, but unfortunately these don't have sufficient demand for profitability, hence they are personals only, and you might even be able to grab these for below retail if you are patient and you want a personal. Moving on to the 13th for $110, the Dunk Low Citron Pulse in women's sizes will be dropping. Unfortunately, pre-sales already extremely low on these, leaving no room to profit unless you already have a local buyer, so while these will sell out, they're personals only. Moving on to the 14th for $150, the Air Max 1 White Mika Green will be dropping. While Air Max hype has been increasing lately, demand on these doesn't seem sufficient for profitability, but don't sleep if you do want a personal, as I'd still expect them to sell out, just as personals only though. Also on the 14th for $150, the Cortez SP Clock Cortez Forrest Gump will be dropping. While the prior Clock Cortez surprisingly did not brick and actually had decent profitability, I'm not expecting the same for these. The current presale is already really close to retail in many sizes and the demand appears to be very low overall. While I do expect these to sell out, I'd have to say personal only. Also on the 14th for $180, we'll finally be seeing another Zoom Vapor AJ3, this time in the Racer Blue colorway. Now, if you look at the prior pairs, you'll see they're doing well, but initially, the recent two pairs were not profitable, contrary to the black and white cements. Furthermore, it appears Roger Federer's initials are no longer on the midsole, which will only hinder the demand. For that reason, I'd say as of now, these are just personals, but best case scenario, maybe demand looks good before the release. As of right now, pre-sale does seem to be pretty high, but the demand does seem quite low. Then on the 15th for $180, the Jordan 1 Lucky Green will be dropping. Initially, I said these would likely play out like Jordan 1 Yellow Toe, but now it's actually looking like they will be slightly worse, contrary to my recent expectations. Pre-sale is already really low, only leaving room for lunch money if you have no tax in your state and you have local buyers. Otherwise, they might just be personals. I'll make a full detailed analysis on these the day before the drop, so make sure you do subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you stay updated. Also, of course, be sure to follow my Twitter for urgent updates such as shock drop notifications, KeithAdam10. Also on the 15th for $120, the Air Force 1 Low Jackie Robinson will be dropping. Of course, demand isn't nearly as high as it was for the Dunk Jackie Robinson, but the demand for an Air Force 1 is certainly above average. Hence, I am expecting some potential for lunch money with a poor to subpar margin, nothing significant though. Jumping to the 19th, the Ja 1 Day 1 will be dropping for $110. Considering how well the prior two Ja 1s did and his popularity only rapidly growing, combined with an amazing low retail of $110, I'd have to expect these to be profitable with a good to very good margin, with larger sizes being the best. This is a good sleeper cook, make sure you don't forget about them. Moving on to the 20th for $130, the Run the Jewels SB Dunk Low will be dropping for $130. Demand is looking really solid for these. Despite the elevated retail, I'd still expect these to be profitable with a good to very good margin. The highs will also be dropping on the 20th for $140. Of course, demand is lower on the highs plus a higher retail. Initially, I said they might be personals only, but demand is actually looking pretty decent still, so as of now, I'd expect potential lunch money with a subpar margin. Of course, the lows will be the best of the two though. Then on the 21st for $120, the Dunk Low PRM Team Red Women's will be dropping. You might remember these actually had a shock drop not too long ago, especially if you follow my Twitter. If you want to know about these shock drops before they happen, follow Endurance's Twitter for updates on the next restock. I'm going to try to make sure I restock before a particular event, that of which I'm sure most of you guys should be interested in. Anyway, currently these Team Reds are really low in price since tons are already in circulation from the shock drop. It's possible that they might be a bit oversold right now and they might maintain this price after more go into circulation, but even then there isn't much room for profit unless you have no tax or local buyers, and even then it's a poor margin. Then on the 22nd for $180, the Jordan 1 Washed Pink will be dropping. Like many recent Jordan 1s, I'd expect these to mostly just be personals unless you have no tax in your state and you're okay with a very poor margin or you have local buyers. However, demand is surprisingly still holding up pretty well, so we'll see what changes closer to the drop, and I'll make a full analysis the day before the drop for you guys as well. Also on the 22nd for $200, the Jordan 13 Black Flint will be dropping. Demand actually looks pretty solid for a 13, but like most 13s, I would still expect these to just be personals unless you have local buyers. Also on the 22nd for $110, the Dunk Low PRM MF Neutral Olive in women's sizes will be dropping. Pre-sales already at retail, so I'd have to say personal only for these as well. Also on the 22nd for $110, the Dunk Low PRM Pink Oxford in women's sizes appears to have slightly better pre-sale in large sizes, but the demand is still very low overall. As of now, I'd say personals only, but I'll let you know if anything changes closer to the drop. Moving on to the 25th for $110, the Dunk Low White Pure Platinum will be dropping. Similar to the prior pair, pre-sale and demand are both quite low, so I'd have to say personals only as of now. Also on the 25th, Europe will be having their release for the Action Bronson New Balance 990 V6. Despite a higher retail of $225 like initially expected, they did end up being quite profitable, particularly in large sizes 10 and up, and I wouldn't expect much of a change following the Europe drop, considering how low the stock was for the main US release. Then on the 26th for $150, the highly anticipated Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Women's Olive will finally be dropping. Of course, demand is extremely high on these and stock will be low like all Jordan 1 Travis. Expect these to be extremely profitable with an incredible margin, so obviously full throttle. Furthermore, the preschool and toddler pairs will be dropping for $60 and $50 respectively. Like prior pairs, I would even expect these to be profitable with a good to very good margin, but you may need to be patient when selling because the volume is low when it comes to these types of sizes. Then on the 28th for $180, the delayed Air Force 1 Mid Off-White Pine Green will finally be dropping after multiple delays. Despite these being Off-White Air Force 1s, demand is pretty bad, and pre-sale in most sizes is already quite low too. In fact, they might just end up being personals only by the way things are looking. Unfortunately, the spikes are really hurting the demand on these. I have to keep you guys updated if anything changes, of course. Then on the 29th, for $210, the Jordan 3 Wizard should be dropping. Like the Lucky Green Jordan 3 we discussed in the past, I'm not expecting very notable demand on these, not to mention retail is $10 higher, so I'd have to say these are mostly just personals unless you have no tax in your state and local buyers. Then on the 30th, for $140, the Jordan 1 Low Golf Black Toe will be dropping. Like most recent golf ones, I'd expect these to be personals only as well. Now, we do have another drop coming soon. This one does not have a public date, however, and that is the Jordan 1 Lost and Found. If you recall, I mentioned a long time ago that the rumors about a restock were technically true. It just wasn't going to happen that soon, and nothing has changed. Of course, the precise date and release info will be posted in Endurance, as always, and you could expect a restock announcement soon for that. Just make sure you're following the Endurance Twitter. As for profitability for these Jordan 1s, I think this one's pretty obvious. Of course, as usual, many more drops should pop up throughout the month, and I'll keep you guys updated. Anyway, that'll conclude it for today. You can feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed it, maybe if you learned a thing or two. Subscribe to stay 100% updated on all hype sneaker news. Also, be sure to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies from Kip Proxies, or you can also feel free to try e-deals for completely free with the free trial link below. Furthermore, be sure to follow Endurance on Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways, and same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up with the progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow KeithAdam10 and Personals for You. This way, you guys stay updated on all urgent info like I was mentioning today. With that though, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and of course, good luck on all these upcoming releases.